Hey, this is your hillbilly historian coming to you from the hills of East Tennessee in Appalachia, where truth, honesty, justice, and the American way prevail. Common sense, integrity prevails over woke, liberalism, and garbage thinking. We only delve in truth and common sense here, giving you history that you won't find in your high school or college textbooks. Today, I want to talk about Custer's last stand at the Little Bighorn back around 1876. Custer's been pretty hard on the Sioux Indians, but hey, Sheridan and President Grant had sent him out there to get the Indians off American land, get them on the little bitty reservations where we'd give them a cow or two a month to live off of. And they would lose their hunting grounds because white men were paying good money for land, prairie land, homes, real estate. There's a lot of money being made on selling that land, but first they had to get the Indians off of it. Just like the Livingstons did in New York. Sent out men to wipe out the Indians so they could sell the land to white settlers. And that's where scalping came in. These men were paid by the scalp. So they had to scalp the Indian to prove they'd killed one. And that's how they were paid. But out west, it was the military that was being used by the U.S. government because the U.S. government was being funded by the real estate people who were greedy and wanted to make a lot of money off this land. So we had to drive the Indians off of it. And the Sioux and some of their buddies got together and decided they were going to resist. And what ended was Custer and his about 275 men got wiped out by about 2,000 or 3,000 Indians one day. They were riding through this Little Bighorn area, and the Indians came over the rise, and that was it. But it didn't happen the way movies like to portray it. The cavalry, Custer's men, did not get off their horses and square up, circle up, square up into the famous British square and put up a fight. That ain't the way it happened. The Indians hit them so fast and so hard they just scattered and ran for their lives. If they had squared up, they'd had a good chance. The Indians would not have gotten off horseback to attack, and use the land as cover and all that. They were horsebackmen. They loved to ride them horses and fight from horseback. And Custer's men were issued the regular Army breech-loading rifle, single shot breech loading, but they could fire 5 to 7 rounds a minute. And if they had 275 men that squared up and fired 275 rounds 5 to 7 times a minute, they'd have wiped those Indians out. That would have been military history there. Custer would have lived and he'd have been a great hero. But no, they panicked. The Indians were actually better armed than the U.S. military because the Indians were buying their guns on the free market, and they were buying those Winchester lever action, the ones you load on Sunday and shoot all week. That's what they had. I think they held about 15 rounds lever action. Really good horseback rifle. And so they were actually better armed than Custer's U.S. Army military people were. But they panicked when them Indians hit them. They panicked, scattered, and ran. You know, archaeological searches have found military uniform buttons, belt buckles, the things that don't fade away over the years, rot and melt away. They found them scattered all over the Bighorn area. So these guys, they were everywhere. They scattered. You know, it was almost like the British Army at Calais when the Germans had them surrounded, and they were down to just a few hundred men, and the order came down, every man for himself. You know, hey, look, I ain't got a white flag. Can I use your handkerchief? Every man for himself. You know, and that's kind of, there wasn't no order handed down, written or verbal, but they scattered. The Indians hit them so hard and fast, they scattered all over. They ran for their lives. And I'm thinking somewhere back there, one of them might have got away. I've not been able to historically verify that one way or the other, but there was some rumor that one did escape and survive. That's kind of like the Alamo. You know, they always claimed there was one got out of the Alamo alive. But those rumors are hard to verify one way or the other historically. It ain't like they had reporters there on the field filming everything or copying everything down. But Custer's men, not like the movies show it, circling up and getting wiped out little by little by little, by attack after attack. They scattered from the get-go. There was no fight to it. And Indians, in an open run in battle, you can't, they're hard to beat. One-on-one, you could probably beat them if you put up a good fight. But running, no, they're going to run you down. They're going to run you down and butcher you. And that's what happened to Custer's men. There wasn't no fight to it. They were just ambushed and wiped out. Shame, real shame, because, you know, myth has it that Custer had a very disciplined group of military men that he trained constantly every day and worked them real hard, training and all that. It didn't happen that way. They were hit, they scattered, ran for their lives, and none of them made it. Except there's a rumor that one might have got away. But the Indians got them down. Now the rest of the army that was in the field that day, they got in some brush on the bank of a river, and they put up a fight, and they survived. And but Custer didn't. His men broke and ran, and the Indians run them down one by one, killed every one of them, and wiped them out. So here is your hillbilly historian bringing you the truth, the real, down-to-earth truth and of history of the matter. And archaeology has proved this out, that they scattered. They were all over that hillside. Those uniform buttons and belt buckles and things that survived were scattered all over that Bighorn area. So those men scattered, and they were not able to, you know, you're not able to put up a fight, because the Indians had them outnumbered 10-1 anyway, and one man against 10 ain't got a chance, but 275 against 3,000 could have possibly made it. But anyway, this is your hillbilly historian giving you the truth of General Custer's wipeout at the Little Bighorn. You have a good day.